We continue now at the top of Daf Lamed Vavam and Aleph Meseches Sukkah. This is Sukkah Daf 36a. On the previous summit, the Gemara had a contradiction when it came to an esrog that's peeled, whether it's kosher, whether it's puzzle. And the Gemara here answers, Habekula, Habemiksasa. It depends if the entire thing is peeled or just part of it is peeled. Rashi over here explains, Bekula kosher, if the whole thing is peeled, it's going to be kosher. Bemiksasa, but if part of it is peeled, then puzzle, it's going to be puzzle. Demenumurhu, because that's considered to be spotted or speckled, and that's going to be a problem. The Gemara continues at the two dots, quoting the Mishnah, Nistak, Nikev, if you have situations where it's cracked or it has a hole, etc. The Gemara says, Tani Ula Barchinina. Ula Barchinina taught as follows, Nikev nekef mefulosh b'mashu. If you have a hole that goes all the way through the entire esrog, so then even the smallest hole is going to be a problem. V'she'eno mefulosh b'chi'isr. If the hole doesn't go all the way through, then it has to be the size of an isr, which is a certain kind of a coin. Rashi over here says, Tani ula barchanina, anike v'lo chaser koi. We're going on the case where there's a hole, but it's not missing. The esrog isn't missing anything. Demachshir tana demasnisin. So in the Mishnah, the Tana of the Mishnah said that that's okay. V'yasa hai Tana l'meimar, and this Tana is coming to say, Dimefulashu mitzido letzido pasal b'nekev kolshu, afilo shal machat. If you have a situation of a hole that goes all the way through from one side of the other to the one side of the esrog to the other, even if it is the tiniest hole like that of a needle, it's going to be a problem. V'nekev she'eno mefulish. Now let's say it doesn't go all the way through, b'ch'isr, then it goes up to the size of an isr, it's still okay. Imrachav ke'isr pasal, but if it becomes the size of an isr, then it's pasal. In these cases, our time where it's not missing anything. Let's say you have something thick that you stick into it, a peg that's thick. And Rashi says that our Mishnah, which says kosher, is talking about where it's less than an isser, and it's not going all the way through. So the Gemara continues, Rava asked the following question, Noldu be'esrog simone treifa mao. Let's say you have a situation where the esrog has something that, if it would be in an animal, it would make the animal treif. What's the halacha? So the Gemara says, "My kami boile." What exactly is Rava's question? Iniklaf tanin. If you have a situation where it's peeled, that's already in the Mishnah. Inistak tanin. You have a situation where it's cracked, that's already in the Mishnah. Inikev tanini. If you have a hole, that's already in the Mishnah. So what exactly is this blemish on the esrog that's similar to a treifa that's not already listed in the Mishnah? And so the Gemara answers, "Ki kami boile." What was Rava's question? It was the following case. Kedu Ula Amar Rabbi Yochanan. It's like Ula said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Reya. Let's say you have the lungs of an animal. Shenishbecha kekiton. The tissue inside the lungs becomes so liquidy, you can pour it like you're pouring something out of a pitcher. So ksheira, in such a situation, it's kosher. V'yamar Rav, and Rava says, v'udekaima symphona. That's only true if the bronchi are still intact. Halo kaimi symphona treifa. But if the bronchi are not intact, then it actually is treifa. But the point is, if again the tissues become liquefied, that's still going to be considered kosher. So hachamai, what about over here? In the case of the esrog, let's say it becomes liquefied on the inside, what's going to be the halacha? Dil mahasamu de lo shalit bo avira hadar baria. So over there, maybe by the case of an animal where everything is enclosed within the body, so we say even though it was like liquefied, it's still okay because the air isn't touching it, and it's possible for it to become healthy once again. Avol hacha, but over here by the esrog, the shalit bo avira, where the air is able to get in over there, it's not completely enclosed, sruche misrachas. So in such a situation, that really means it's going to be ruined, and the esrog is not kosher. Odil moloshna. Or maybe not. Maybe there's no difference, and maybe in this case as well, just like by a behema, as long as the bronchi are intact, it's going to be kosher. So to over here by esrog, maybe it's going to be kosher. So the Gemara says, Tashma, come in here the following proof. It says in the Braisa, esrog tapuach saruach. If you have an esrog that is swollen or that it is spoiled, kavush if it's pickled, shaluk if it's boiled, kushi if it's an esrog from kush, again a black esrog, lavan if it's white esrog, umenumor if it's a speckled esrog, pasal, all of these cases are going to be considered pasal. Esrog kekador, if you have an esrog shaped like a ball, pasal, that's also pasal. V'yeshomer mafhatiyom, some people say also if it's a conjoined esrog, a twin, it's going to be pasal. Esrog habos, if you have an esrog that is unripe, Rabbi Akiva posel v'chachamim machshirin. Rabbi Akiva says it's pasal, and the chachamim say it's kosher. And godlo b'defus v'asokim in birya acheres. If you grow it into a form, so it's growing in something that creates a certain shape, and it looks like something completely different, pasal in this case as well, it's going to be pasal. So the Gemara says, Katani mihas. Nevertheless, what does it say in this brisa? Tafuach and saruach, which sound like the same thing. You have an esrog that's ruined in some way, that's spoiled in some way. So what's the difference between these two terms? And so the Gemara suggests, my lav is it not? Tapuach mi bachutz. Tapuach means that it's decayed on the outside. V'saruach mi bifnim. And saruach means it's decayed on the inside. And that's exactly our case. Our case was if the inside of the esrog is liquefied or something along those lines. Is it a problem? It seems like it is a problem. The Gemara says, no, that's not necessarily what the Brisa means. Lo, no, idi v'idi mi bachutz. It could be both terms refer to some kind of a decay on the outside of the esrog. V'lo kasha is not difficult. Had tafach afagav de lo sorach. Tafach means it swells, even though it's not decayed. And had sarach afagav de lo tafach. And sarach means it decays, but it didn't swell at all. So there's just different kinds of decay, of spoilage, and that's what the Brisa is talking about. And the Gemara continues, Amar Mar, the master said, quoting what we just said above, Esrog kushi pasul. You have an esrog from kush, it's pasul. Vatanya, but didn't we learn in the Brisa kushi kosher, that it's from kush? If it's black, it's going to be kosher. So the Gemara says, no, it means to say, dome lekushi pasul. The Gemara says it means to say that if it is similar to one from kush, then it's going to be pasul. Rashi over here explains, dome lekushi shagod al kan. The idea is if it grows over here, and it's a black esrog, pasul shenidmu. That's pasul already, because that's like meshuna. It's different than a normal esrog. Aval kushi atzmo hainu tam dekasher dorchiu. But if you're in the area of Kush, if you're in the area of Ethiopia, and it's black and it's normal, that's a normal way an esrog looks in that particular location, that's actually going to be fine in such a case. And Amar Abaya says, Ki tanan nami masnisin dom melakushi tanan. Our Mishnah, that's actually what our Mishnah is talking about, because our Mishnah says kushi is a problem. It means to say that it looks like one, but it's not from that particular location, and that's why it's going to be a problem, because it's meshuna, it's different than a normal esrog. And the Gemara continues, Rava Amar Rava says a different answer, Lokash is not difficult, Halon v'halahu. It depends who you're talking about, whether it be for the people of Eretz Yisrael, and the other case is talking about the people of Bavel. Rashi over here explains, Halon v'halahu liolam masnisin kushi nami pasul. Really, in our Mishnah, we're not talking about Dom Kushi. We're talking about one from the land of Kush. V'lo kash, it's not difficult. Masnisin livnei Eretz Yisrael sherechokin me'eretz Kush. In the Mishnah, where it says it's pasul, that's because it was people in Eretz Yisrael. They're far from the land of Kush. Ve'enam regilim behem. It's not normal to see that kind of esrog. So even though it's normal for the location it came from, but if it's now brought to Eretz Yisrael where you don't see esrogim like that, it's going to be a problem. Braisa livnei Bavel shekrovim lekush. The Braisa where it says it's okay, that's talking about Bavel. Bavel was closer to Kush. Uregilan behem, it was normal to see esrogim like that. Umikol makom, and Rashi says nevertheless, begadol kan, and let's say it grows over here, v'doma lekushi, and it looks like a kushi, nidmahu pasul. That already is a situation where it's really not. It's really different than a normal esrog that's growing in this location, and that, according to Rava, everyone would agree is going to be pasul. And the Gemara continues, esrog haboser. Let's say you have an esrog that's not ripe. Rabbi Akiva posel v'chacham machshir, and we said before, Rabbi Akiva says pasul, and the chachamim say kosher. Amar Rabba says, Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Shimon Amru davar echad. Rabbi Akiva over here, and Rabbi Shimon, we'll see in a moment, they're really saying the same idea. Rabbi Akiva hadiyamar. Rabbi Akiva, what we just said, that Rabbi Akiva says if it's not ripe as an esrog, you can't use it for the mitzvah. Rabbi Shimon Maihi, where did Rabbi Shimon say something? And the Gemara says, Ditnan, as we learned in a Mishnah, this is a Mishnah in Maiseris, Rabbi Shimon Poter es esrogim bekotzanan. Rabbi Shimon says if you have an esrog that's still small, basically seems to be saying it's unripe. So in such a situation, as Rashi over here says, Poter es esrogim bekotzanan mina Maiseris. It's Poter from Maiser. Rashi over here before, Rabbi Akiva damar da'ad gemar bishulei lo have esrog pri. What's he really saying? He's saying before it's ripe, Rabbi Akiva is saying it's not considered a fruit. That's exactly what Rabbi Shimon is saying as well, which is why it's not chayiv in Maisris. So the Gemara says not necessarily. Amar le Abaya said back to him, Dilma lohi. Maybe you can't make the comparison between these two halachas, the halacha of esrog on Sukkot and the halacha of Maiser. Ad kan lo kamer Rabbi Akiva hacha de ba'inan hadar v'leka. Could be that Rabbi Akiva is saying an esrog needs to be hadar. Maybe it is a pri, but it's not considered beautiful, so you can't use it for the mitzvah if it's not ripe. Aval Hasan, but over there, Karabanan Svirale. Maybe he holds like the Rabbanan that it's actually enough of a fruit to be chayiv in Maisrus. Inami, or you could say, Adkan lo kamer Rabbi Shimon Hasam ela dichsiv, aser ta aser es kol tvu asarecha. It says in the pasuk of Maiser, aser ta aser es kol tvu asarecha. We learn out, kederech shebnei adam motziin lizriya, meaning it has to be the normal way that people use it for planting. Only that is chayiv in Maiser. Aval hacha karabanan Svirale, but over here, maybe he holds like the Rabbanan, meaning maybe Rabbi Shimon holds like the Rabbanan, and would say you cannot fulfill the mitzvah. As Rashi over here says, Shebnei Adam Motziin Lizriya, by when it comes to Maiser, Rabbi Shimon learns out it has to be an esrog that people use for planting, meaning Pri ha'osoi litzmoach. It means a fruit that you're gonna, if you plant it, it would grow. That's only true by an esrog which is fully ripened. And so again, that's why Rabbi Shimon says if it's fully ripened, it's not chayiv in Maiser. But it could be even if it's not fully ripe, it could be your yotze, the mitzvah of esrog on Sukkot. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Lamed Vav Amud Beis.